and that's where I learned it. But he's actually been using his therapy on his everyday life and trying to help, his family out with that. Um, so when you first saw the scene, Nas, what were you thinking?
You're watching these men, masculine men, and the way that men handle these conversations, less words, kind of intuitive. There's a lot of not making eye contact. We're just kind of looking at body posture, like scanning to make sure that the other ones. You okay with this? You about to act? You about to act? You about to act funny? No, you about to act funny? You being a little punk? You being a little punk? It's a weird little. What do they call it? Play chicken. They're both playing chicken to see who's going to break first.
Right.
And you see Tony because he's going through something, right? And he's learning, figuring out some stuff, asking about, well, maybe it's just serotonin stuff, acting stupid, right? He's acting stupid.
Yeah.
But he's making very clear points. So maybe you're low on some neurochemicals. Maybe you need some Prozac. Maybe we need diet exercise. But he's asking very pointed questions when it comes to suicidality and intrusive thoughts. So, maybe you're thinking about this cancer stuff because you want to die. Maybe you're putting yourself in risky positions and digging up things because you want to get caught. So he's seeing him do more volatile things. And what we know about a lot of men is that we have the highest rates of actually completion of suicide, right? Actually dying from it because they're more violent ways. But we also know a lot of men of color that is suicide by homicide. So we'll put ourselves in dangerous positions to be killed, which is the same thing as, taking your own life. You're putting yourself in danger. That's what Tony's referencing here. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to end it, huh? This is erratic behavior. This is not logical behavior. So he's got that in his mind. He's got his own demons that he's facing, right? He probably has his intrusive thoughts. He's got, depression, panic attacks, too much, the pressure, wants to check out, passive suicidality, maybe not active. But he's thinking, hey, man, statistics are done on this. If you ask someone if they're suicidal, it actually dramatically decreases the chances of them committing suicide or going through with it because now they're able to let it out. And everyone thinks, well, man, I don't want to ask him that. Or like even therapists, well, I don't want to say it. Hey, you going to kill yourself today? Yeah, in therapy, I ask all the time, hey, man, just checking in real quick. You going to kill yourself? You have any thoughts? They're like, nah, I haven't thought about that in like 2 years. I'm to make sure. Because sometimes things will come up and you're like, this could lead to you wanting to check out. For a lot of autistic folks, neurodivergent folks, the overwhelming feelings is not that they always want to die because they want to end their life. They'll say that they want to die because they don't want to be in that moment and exist in that moment. So it's like real death versus just dissociating and not wanting to exist. To me, there's a little bit of a difference. I want to exist momentarily versus like, I'm about to do this and end my own life.
Right.
And I think a lot of counselors and a lot of medical practitioners, they don't know the difference. And thus they will hospitalize my kiddos immediately or other clients immediately when all you got to do is talk it out. Talk it out, make sure, see where it's at. It's your clinical judgment that they'll be safe. You put in the skills, the safety plan, the regimen, who they're going to call, right? You break it all down. That way when they leave, they got like a legit plan afterwards to protect themselves. So going back to the scene, the subtlety of these two dudes, Spence, is like spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you've done it with each other. I've done it with Colin. I've done it with hundreds of dudes.
Hope you wore protection.
I didn't. And this is how we go about it, dude. It's this very subtle checking to see if the other guy, you good? You gonna go to therapy? It's funny how the other dude just, I ain't no, what do you call it? Mental midget?
Mental midget.
Jesus.
I've never heard that one before, but hey.
And did you see the way Tony looked at him though? The shame and disgust, not being mad at him. He's like, damn, this is what he thinks of me.
Yeah. And you kind of also see that, in just like everyday life when it comes to like, say people are, closeted and stuff like that. And then they hear like a homophobic joke or something like that. And then they're like, oh, okay, this is what they think. So I'm just even shut myself off even more.
Yep.
Now, why would I even talk about it? Like I thought maybe, and like you said, he's testing the water also to maybe say like, hey, I've been going to therapy. Why don't you go to therapy also?
Yep.
So
That's what he's doing. He sets in the water, then he shits all over it. But little by little, they start to have a real talk, and you can see the emotionality, the connection. That
Mhm.
right there with men is enough.
Yeah.
That right there could save a life right there. We may not have to talk about all the emotions, all that stuff, but just to let a little bit of gas out, to acknowledge that, hey, man, it's okay if you're suffering. It's okay, man. There could be reasons for this. Is enough. I get masculinity is really toxic at times. I get it. And then sometimes this is all we can do.
Yeah.
These are really masculine dudes that are out here, mobsters. These are murderers, right? These are, top of the food chain type dudes. So these type of conversations not going to happen. Reminds me of a client right now. They were dating someone, and it was a woman, and they're dating a dude. And I said, "Hey man, you need to tell them that we're in therapy, this and that, right? I know they gotta wonder where you go every week, right?" And they're like, "Oh no, I just say I'm going out or running errands, this and that, right?" And eventually that relationship fizzled out because they can never be fully true with them and who they are or what they're going through. And then they end up meeting this other dude and immediately talking about everything. It's just an open book and it's magnificent. I'm like, you son of a bitch, I was trying to get you to do this with the other guy. So what was the difference between the two? So that's kind of nuanced and that could take a long time to talk about, but no.
No.
Um, one of them feels home and safe, comfortable. The other one felt like she always had to put on a show and mask and be perfect. And
Mhm.
so it led to a lot of weird discussions over there where they couldn't be open because then they'd be seen as less than. Because mental health, this mental midget thing, you're less than.
Mm.
With dudes, not only you're less than, you're also crazy. You're soft. You're a bitch. You're broken. You could be collateral damage, right? You could be in the weight burden. So that's why people don't want to say shit. That's why my clients don't tell their parents. That's why dudes don't tell other dudes.
Yeah.
This this is super sad. My condolences to a lot of the families at these universities that have been going through with their kids committing suicide.
Yeah.
Ohio State the other day, someone looks like it was a parent of one of the kiddos graduating actually killed themselves. So my condolences to family members, to the students of these Ohio State and other universities. But all the time you'll hear this, Spencer, with the men, is that he was the happiest guy. You never would have known. And then they end their life, and then you see the suicide note at home. And it's interesting how all my students, because I'll see the friends of these clients because they're traumatized, and no one ever knew. No one ever knew. I was talking to one boy, and he said, "You know what? About 2 years ago, he said the breakfast that we get as friends is the best moment of his entire week, and only lasts an hour." And he made a subtle comment like, "It's the only reason why I'm alive." And everyone laughed like, "Ah, yeah, we love each other, right?"
Mhm.
And then 2 years later, hey, maybe this is true. So no one thought that he was, messed up though.
Mhm.
It's sad. Men like that in that clip. It was a good clip, powerful clip, and it's for real about suicidality. So I'm glad he brought it up. I wanted to just use some stories to talk about it.
Yeah. Definitely. Moving on to the next one. This is where he's trying to find a new therapist because he had like throughout the whole series, he's been like going on and off about therapy. He's like, "This is great, fuck you. This is great, fuck you." Goes back and forth about it, and then especially he gets like anytime she brings up a certain subject, he gets like uber aggressive, and and then she's like, "Just get the fuck out." Um, but during this scene, I wanted to bring it up because um, I think it's a good sense of like sometimes we are not going to have the best therapists. They're not meant for you. They'll tell you that, or you'll find it out on your own. Which I think is a great part of therapy. It's not always going to be perfect the first time. We've brought it up many times, but it's not going to be perfect the first time. You have to keep on going. You have to keep on moving through and seeing, if a personality works for you. Now, with Dr. Melfi, worked out very well because she wanted to take on her client, aka Tony Soprano, right? She wanted to not only try to help him and see if maybe she can turn him around, but also she felt that because she's also Italian, and so that's also kind of her rite of passage, maybe, of where she's trying to help her own people. and maybe some point he'll do some good for others. So yeah. Um, but yeah, like I kind of said, therapy, it's going to be sometimes it's going to be a rocky road. It's not always
Challenging.
going to be smooth.
So is this that second to last thing that we're talking about right now?
No, so this is just the second scene that I brought up with the male therapist, and he was like,
Oh,
Mr. Spears.
yeah. So the male therapist. So that was an interesting scene. The thing what I'll say about that is, okay, so he knows who the client is. So that doesn't mean that you can't take on a client, but you can maybe reject a client because there's some stuff that you don't want to get into. Maybe you're full. I don't think I would ever do something like that, right? If you're working with someone,
Right.
I've never been in that situation to decline working with someone. The only reason why I've declined clients is because they've been referred to me by their partner, their husband or wife, right? Their significant other, and I'm like, I can't see you two at the same time. One or the other. It's one or the other. So sometimes one of the partners will discontinue with me.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Check out the full episode on our channel and anywhere you find podcasts. Also, remember to like and subscribe. Whoop whoop.